is officially day 7 of the Texas winter weather. It's been rough, guys. Like, it's been really rough. Continue to pray for the families down here in Texas. We lost homeless people. Some animals have passed away. Families have passed away. There were, I know one for sure, but I think there were a couple families who tried to, sit in their car or warm their home by running their car, and the entire family died of carbon monoxide poisoning, because people were just trying to survive, and a lot of people, I'm blessed to be from the north. I'm from Chicago, and my husband is from Southern Illinois, close to St. Louis. So we know this weather, and we know the do's and the don'ts and the dangers. But people who are from the South, and this is their first time experiencing this, they don't know, they don't really know about the carbon monoxide that comes from your car and just so many dangerous things, right? And so people were just trying to survive and lost their lives. People, the elderly, froze in their home. It was really, really bad. So thank you for everyone who's been thinking of us. Thank you for everyone who's been praying for us. And I consider my family one of the lucky families. We've been really, really blessed. We did lose power the first day after the storm. So the blizzard happened on Sunday, and yes, it was a full blizzard. It was not just snow. I'm from Chicago. Trust me, I know a blizzard. It was a blizzard on Sunday, which was Valentine's Day. And so Monday is when we all lost power. The majority of the Texas state lost power early morning, about 2 a.m. We lost our power at 2 a.m. and we did not get it back on until 5 p.m. So with freezing temperatures, and the homes down here are built different than they are in other states. Even some southern states insulate their homes. But down here, we don't have full insulation like northern homes do. So the heat that was in your home began to escape because the home wasn't being warmed. So by 5 p.m., we were ice cold freezing. Luckily, and I say we were one of the lucky families because luckily we still had gas and we also had water. Thank God. A lot of people had no gas. A lot of new homes are completely electric. So if there's no electricity and there's no backup generator, you have no way to even turn on a stove. If you have gas, you can at least turn on your stove. And we also had water. Our pipes did not burst. It seems like no one had an issue in the neighborhood, because typically if your neighbor's pipes burst or something like that, they'll turn the water off for the whole block or like a portion of the block. And we never lost water. So I think everyone in my neighborhood was pretty okay. So we always had gas and we always had water. However, first day we did not have electricity, so that means we had no heat and no lights from 2 a.m. until 5 p.m. Day 2, the lights went out a couple times for about 2 hours each time. Day 3, the lights went out for about an hour, and day 4, they only went out for about 45 minutes, and then we've had lights ever since. And even still, we never lost gas, we never lost water. Water pressure did get low around day 4, but of course we would drip our faucets at night to make sure the pipes didn't freeze overnight. And after that small window where the pressure was low, it came back the very next day. So, but even still, even with low pressure water, we still have water. So cannot complain whatsoever. We've been very, very lucky, and I think most of the people in my area, it's kind of a suburban area. I think I haven't really heard of a whole lot, bad that happened over here, but in the more urban areas, those places were decimated, literally decimated. I'm not over exaggerating. And people were in dire straits. There was videos of babies crying because they were just so cold, and they were wrapped in blankets and blankets and blankets, but they were freezing. You had homeless people who lost their lives because shelters were full. They found like a homeless person dead on the median on the highway. You had animals who, were strays. And in the South, it's hard for me because I'm a huge animal lover, and I've never seen so many strays in my life than when I live in the South, and I've lived in a couple southern states, and it's baffling to me, but different mindset. So it was really hard, and I've been praying for all living beings for God to just cover them and for God to just spare people. So I am headed to the store right now. I have not been to the grocery store in about a week and a half. I tried to go to Target the day after the storm because I was looking for those like little warmers that you put inside of your gloves, you know, because we were so cold in the house. But everything was sold out. And guess what? I went to Target and there were no lights in Target. There were no lights, but they were still accepting customers, and I think that their registers were running on like backup generators. So yeah, that was interesting. Like, I have video of that, and I'm going to show you guys that while I'm out grocery shopping. I'm going to show you the video of me at Target and how there were no lights, and the weather and the roads and the snowman that the people built around the corner from my house, and just how crazy it was down here. So I'm headed to the store now to do some grocery shopping. I'm going to try to do our full normal grocery shopping. I don't know what's in these stores. I was going to go to Kroger, but I know that a lot of times the local like neighborhood grocery stores don't get restocked as quickly as like your big box stores. So I might just leave Kroger alone and leave that for the people who, there's a global food market opening. That's exciting. I might just leave that for the people who live directly in that neighborhood, who don't have cars, who need to walk to the grocery store. I don't want to like go in there and take all the food, you know? So I think I'm going to go to Walmart. I might end up going to 2 Walmarts. There's 2 Walmarts that I go to like on either side of my house. There's like one way, there's one east and one west. And so I might just kind of do a circle and hit up 2 of those if the one Walmart doesn't have everything I need. So it's been interesting to say the least. Even if you are from up north and you live in Texas, it was still very tricky. I learned that the homes weren't insulated the way that they are up north, and the way that piping and the electricity and stuff is wired, and the power grid down here, and how it's on an independent. Like, I learned so much, and I've been down here 3 or 4 years now, and this is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. Texas gets a ice storm every single year around January or February, which we did get the week prior to this. And I don't know if you guys saw on the news, there was a 100-car pileup in Fort Worth, which I'm in Arlington, so I sit right in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth, and there was a 100-car pileup in Fort Worth where 5 people died. I believe 5 people died. It may have been more, but I'm not sure. And that's because of the ice storm that they get every year. Because Texas and a lot of southern states, they don't salt their streets, they don't prep their streets for storms that are coming. And so if people don't look at the weather, or they underestimate the roads, they slide on what is called black ice. And black ice is completely deadly. I don't care how good of a brake system you have on your car, you cannot stop. Back home in Chicago, I actually totaled one of my cars because I slid on black ice and slid into the back of someone. Luckily, that person was so gracious. They weren't injured or anything like that, but I totaled my car, and thankfully I was safe and I was able to walk away from the accident. Black ice is deadly. And so that's what happened a week prior to this storm, and then boom, this storm hits. So it's been rough. It's been rough down here. As a Chicago girl, I'm telling you, if I'm saying it's been rough, it's been rough. Okay, so headed to the store right now to see what I can get. In the meantime, I'm going to show you guys how crazy it's been down here, and I will be back to show you guys my grocery haul and what I bought. Thank you for all the prayers. Thank you for all the thoughts. Thank you for all the love. And you guys stay safe. You guys stay warm. I'll see you in a bit. Guys, so I'm here at Walmart, and you can't even get in. They have no water in the building. Like, not water for sale. Like, no water in the building. They are not open. Okay guys, so you see, I just went to Walmart, and this is the Walmart that I like the best because they have pretty good produce and stuff, and it's closed. They don't have any water. And there was a gentleman who was who came up to the door after me, and he's like, I don't need water, I just need other stuff. And I was like, they're not closed because they can't sell you water. They're closed because they don't have any running water in the building. Like, so it's bad. It's bad out here, guys. So I'm gonna try another Walmart. There is a Kroger down the street from here, but I just don't know if I can get every single thing I need. So I just don't want to bother. If I need to go to Kroger, I will. And same thing with the Walmart. There's a Walmart I mean, there's a Kroger to the west of me and to the east of me. So if I need to do Kroger, I will. But you guys see, this is crazy.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I want. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time?
This is what you have to avoid. You guys see this? This is crazy. How fitting, like ice. Ice beer or whatever that is. But not a ton of people in the parking lot, which is super good, but you know, lots of ice still, so you got to be careful. But this Walmart is open. It's open. I see people going in and out, so yay.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I want. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better.
Okay, so I just made it out of Walmart. They did not have everything as expected. I don't think any store has everything. I wasn't able to get hash browns. I like to buy those like onion and green pepper, the frozen ones that are already chopped, because we eat them for like in our breakfast and our eggs. We eat them for dinner. They're so easy, you know, to cook with. Frozen berries, we love them for our smoothies. Turkey sausage patties, they didn't have. They didn't have anything, as you guys saw. They didn't have really anything in the frozen food section, and the couple of things that were there were just stuff that they got in this morning or overnight, and they were able to keep it. But all the perishable stuff was off the shelves. Let's see what else. That's pretty much it. That's pretty good. This was my grocery list. This was my grocery list, and I mean, I've pretty much crossed off the majority of the things on here, so I think that was pretty good. So I'll swing by Kroger on the way home and see if they have this extra stuff, and if not, I'm not gonna worry about it. It's not a big deal. We do have a little bit of everything that I just named, so it's not a huge deal. I can get it on Monday or something like that when, you know, people are back at work and the stores are quiet and the shelves are stocked again. So but yeah, it was a pretty interesting experience in there. I've never been in a Walmart that was like empty, even during the whole Panasonic last year, or Panorama, you know, as some like to call it. You know, of course there was toilet paper and stuff like that. It wasn't on the shelves, but there was food. I mean, there wasn't a ton of food, but there was food. Like this, the storm knocked out so much power. You saw I went to the previous Walmart. They had no water. No running water in the building, and you know, you cannot open a facility with no running water. It's not sanitary. Like the people who mandate and, you know, oversee that would shut your store down, so they couldn't be opening. In this Walmart didn't really have a whole lot of food, because, you know, you have the other Walmart that's not open, not available. So I'm about to swing by Kroger, then I'm gonna head home, and that's it. So as you guys can see here, the roads are significantly better. I'm so grateful for that. I feel a lot safer. The snow and ice is starting to melt. And just after these clips of the road, I'm gonna show you guys, starting at day one, what it looked like living through this Texas winter storm. So the storm started the morning of February the 14th, and we just saw a little dusting outside, but you know, we didn't really think anything of it. We decided to get up and exchange our gifts and cook a little breakfast. You'll see here that my stepson cooked the waffles and I cooked the other portions, and so we just kind of had a family Valentine's Day breakfast. And then that evening, my husband hired a chef to come in and teach a cooking class. So as the snow began to build, we didn't think the chef was going to make it, but she did. She let us know that she was still coming and the class was on. And here we cooked deep fried cauliflower, like buffalo style lettuce wraps. They were super delicious. And then we woke up the very next morning on Monday and the storm had officially hit. And that's when we knew we were in for quite the experience. As you can see, it started early. We started to get a little delirious and my husband was singing old school hip hop tunes. And I decided to get up and try to make us some coffee. Of course, we couldn't use the coffee maker because, you know, no electricity. So I made some old school cowboy coffee. I looked outside and my poor neighbor was chopping down a tree trying to create firewood. It just was a mess, guys. And as you can see, my Jeep is covered in snow. But this old school Chicago girl knew exactly what to do. So since this was day one, I decided to try a hand at venturing out to Target. I knew there probably wouldn't be much left, but I thought I'd give it a shot and maybe find some hand warmers or anything that can warm us because the house had gotten so cold. And as you can see here, guys, Target had no power. They were running on a backup generator. The only lights in the store were the lights that you see, and their cash registers were working and the doors were working. That was it. And they had already trashed all of their perishable items because of course they cannot sell, you know, that stuff. Look how dark it is in Target. It was so eerie. So I'm headed back home now, and I typically take this roundabout to the left, right behind this pickup truck, but it was so icy and so snowy, I did not want to do that because I wasn't sure, you know, about sliding down that angled slope. So I just decided to go to the normal light and, you know, just make a traditional left turn. I felt like that might be a little bit safer. But as you guys can see here, the roads were absolutely horrible. I received a phone call from Scott and he told me that the lights were back on. So as much as I wanted to rush home, I couldn't. I don't live far from Target at all. It's right across the bridge from my house, but I really took my time because I wanted to get home safely. And even on the way, I saw that one of my neighbors had built a big fat snowman. It's so adorable. So thankfully, we are both flight attendants and we have a ton of portable chargers. I grabbed every one that I can find and plugged it into the wall so that we can have some electricity just in case the lights went out again. And then Scott grabbed our shovel that we use for gardening. I could not find a traditional shovel, but hey, we used what we had and like this squeegee stick to get all the snow and ice out of our driveway. So at least we can be safe walking in and out of the house. All right, guys, so the lights are back on. As you can see, I just jumped in the shower like right away. We still have hot water because our hot water tank is heated with gas, but I wanted to get dressed in the light and see myself so I can exfoliate and do all the things I need to do. So I just jumped in the shower, took advantage of the power that we have. I'm hoping that it stays on for the rest of the day. But in the meantime, I just put on some clothes. I threw on this oversized sweater that I keep in my closet and some leggings. I pretty much have a capsule wardrobe. It's just leggings, tank tops, t-shirts, and oversized sweaters. I have all my other clothes are in the closet, but they're kind of tucked away. And one day I'll show you guys that. But I like to keep a capsule closet because it keeps it nice and simple for me. I don't have to like figure out what to wear. I know I'm putting on a pair of leggings, and if it's hot enough, a tank top. If not, then I'll put on a t-shirt with it. And if not, I'll put on an oversized sweater. Boom, some cute shoes, call it a day. So I'm just going to freshen up my hair. I like to use this African Pride oil spray for between my braids. It keeps my scalp nice and moisturized, and it is paraben free, sulfate free, mineral oil free, so it doesn't cause dandruff. I love that. And sometimes I'll put a little mousse on my braids because this helps keep the braids together. And then of course, Eco Styler gel for my edges. So yeah, I took a shower. I'm about to get dressed, and well, I am dressed, and we'll see how long this power lasts.
Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so I'm telling her yes. Though I'm kinda down from the pain in my chest, but I'm putting her to sign now. I'ma feel her right now, happy from the stuff I know she likes. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Ay, always down every week, yeah. Know I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, call my bluff. She know what's up, can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her. Oh yeah, even when it don't feel right, hey, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. We been chillin' on through Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me.
Because I didn't know how long we would have electricity, I decided to go ahead and whip up dinner sooner than later. I picked up this West African jollof rice from Walmart. I just wanted to try it and see how authentic it was. And then I looked up a recipe on YouTube for blackened salmon. I'm gonna have that linked in the description box below so you can watch that tutorial. It's not my tutorial, it's someone else's. I'm not a chef. I just watch videos and learn how to cook. But I watched that video because I didn't have salmon. I used shrimp, and it came out absolutely delicious, guys. And then I did a side of green beans just out of the can, and I added onions, mushrooms, and lemon pepper to that, and that was it. But the recipe was absolutely delicious, and you guys should give it a try if you want, you're looking for something different to cook.
Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her. Oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm tongue-tied, twisted around your finger like a piece of string.
So it's a few minutes before 11 a.m. and this is day 2 of the polar vortex Texas 2021 situation. We did not have any electricity yesterday from about 2 a.m. until 5 p.m. It was so cold. We were freezing. My husband and I had to actually turn the burners on the stove, which I do not recommend. It can get very dangerous, but there was always one of us standing at the stove at a time, and we just kind of hunkered down and stayed on. the first floor and grabbed a bunch of blankets, and we were on the couch. And then one person would be in the kitchen kind of watching the fire. Luckily we had gas. Luckily we have fire. Our home is not 100% electric, thank the Lord. So the gas really saved us because we were able to, you know, create fire. And we also had hot water because our hot water tank it uses gas to warm. So thank God for that. What just happened now? The lights were on since 5 p.m. yesterday. They've been on all night. We were nice and warm and we thought everything was back working, and everything just went off now at almost 11 a.m. So lights were off 2 a.m. until 5 p.m. yesterday. They were on 5 p.m. until 11 a.m. today, and they just went off again. So they're doing what are called rotating outages. So some people can have electricity during, you know, a couple of hours so they can do what they need to do. And then others will have it a certain couple hours so they do what they need to do. I know some people didn't even get electricity overnight last night. So we were very, very blessed that we were able to sleep, you know, in the warmth. But it's been really, really tough down here. A couple days prior to the storm happening, there was an ice storm that happened, and there was a 100-car pileup in Fort Worth, Texas, which isn't far from me at all. That's like a 20-minute drive. And I frequent that area a lot because we have a rental property out there. And so I had just gone out there the day before, and the very next day was a 100-car pileup on the same route that I take to get to the house. So again, very blessed that I wasn't, you know, that I went and ran the errands when I did, because if not, it would have been the next day. And, you know, that could have been anybody in that wreck. And there were people that perished. So feeling very blessed and praying for all of those involved in that horrible accident. But the snow started here on Saturday, February the 13th. The full storm began to happen February the 14th. And then yesterday was the 15th, where we dealt with the repercussions of the storm, and everything was out. There were tons of outages. I made my way to Target to try to get some essentials, and even Target didn't have any power, but it was open. And the cash registers had power. I think they were running on like a generator, but there was no heat in Target. All of the associates had coats on, and it was pretty dark in there. There were just a few lights. So it's been really, really rough down here in Texas. So pray for us. And, you know, hopefully by the time I post this video, everything will be back to normal. But we are supposed to expect more snow on Thursday. And if you guys know anything about this area, the Arlington, you know, Dallas-Fort Worth area, yeah, it gets chilly, and we have like one ice storm for just a couple of hours once every year, but this is really abnormal and very scary for a lot of people. Even my husband and I, being from the north, I'm from Chicago and he's from Southern Illinois, which is near St. Louis, and so we're very familiar with snow and how to navigate it. But if your cities don't have salt trucks and you know, infrastructure to help people move around and navigate safely, it doesn't matter where you come from and how much you're used to the snow. If you go outside and there's ice and, you know, snow everywhere, that's dangerous for everybody, even the people around you. So, you know, hopefully we'll get through this. Hopefully the lights and things will be back on soon. I am going to cook a late lunch, early breakfast, and then try to find something to cook for dinner that is going to be warm and hearty, whether we have lights or not. So we do have a deep freezer, and thank God for that. It's a little disorganized right now, but hey, thank God for the deep freezer, because this thing rarely thaws out. It takes like days for it to thaw out. So thank God for the deep freezer. I try not to open it very much, you know, during this time so that things can stay frozen. But I'm trying to find something for me to eat on my breakfast sandwich, because I don't eat beef, pork, or chicken. I'm a pescatarian, so I'm trying to find, I don't even remember like what I have in here. Maybe these are like vegan. I think these are like vegan chicken patties. I can put that on a breakfast sandwich, right? So I'll eat that with mine, and then for my husband, I'll do the turkey sausage. And yeah, but thank God for a deep freezer, because this has been an absolute godsend the last day or two.
Yeah, I'm tongue-tied, twisted around your fingers.
So I'm going to cook some breakfast sandwiches really quick since that's super easy. I'm gonna throw some turkey patties in this pan here, and then I have some bread. I'm gonna just, toast some bread up, toast it in the pan, because now that the electricity is off, I cannot use the ignition to turn on the oven for the broiler or anything like that. So I'm just gonna toast it in the pan, scramble up some eggs, make some breakfast sandwiches for my husband and I. Since, we've lost power again, as you can see, there's no power, nothing. Everything is completely dead and off. A quick tip again, don't try this at home, but I just wanted you guys to know, if you ever experience power loss and you need some heat, you can put pots on the stove, or turn your stove on for warmth, but make sure you put a pot of water on top, because if you only light the fire, this area will just get so warm over time if this is happening for a long period of time, and it can start to actually warm up and burn your cabinets. Ours did not do that, but I noticed yesterday that this started to kind of peel back. So I have some E6000. I'm gonna, stick that back on there. But that was from us having the burners on and nothing on top of it. So a safer, I won't say it's safe, I'm not a firefighter or nothing like that, but a safer way to have your warmers on, put a pot on top full of water. That way you have your warmth coming from here, the fire is also covered, and then you have another source of heat coming from here. So you've got heat from here and heat from there coming, and it's not direct heat going straight up into your appliances or your cabinets. Most of us who live in southern states don't. You can definitely wear rain boots like I have here. These are my rain boots that I wear when I garden, because gardens get very muddy and there's a lot of moisture, and so if you just put on several layers of socks, or those real thick socks, or even a couple layers of those, they work perfect. So I'm walking to our mailbox. We have one of those mailbox systems that's kind of like, how HOAs have like a central mailbox on the street. You don't have a mailbox in each house. That's how ours is set up. And this also gives me a chance to walk through the neighborhood. Of course, no one's out, right? Because we're all just trying to keep warm. But this is my cute little neighborhood. And this is our mailbox system. So I'm gonna see what I got. So it's pretty full. We don't check our mail every day because, it's far. It's not far, it's like down the street, but So I'm gonna grab the mail, head back inside and get warm. As you guys can see, the streets are not plowed because in Texas, they only have a couple of snow plows like per county, and they are reserved for the most part for the highways. Residential areas, from what I understand, don't get plowed. If you know something different, you live in Texas, you've been through this before, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so when the streets aren't plowed and it snows and then it gets really, really cold overnight, this turns into ice. Because keep in mind, guys, snow is precipitation. So when precipitation freezes, you know, you get ice cubes. So this is not safe to be out driving on, because underneath this layer is a layer of ice from the first snowfall. So guys, I picked up this cute little flag from Dollar Tree today. I thought that was so cute. Bloom where you are planted, as well as that stand came from Dollar Tree too. So super cute finds if you guys get a chance to do a little spring shopping. Dollar Tree has some cute stuff for your garden. But I just wanted to show you guys my garden. This is after the storm. I had Swiss chard. I had nice big heads of broccoli growing, and kale, and it has all been decimated. Those are old tomatoes, don't mind those. But these were my green bunching onions. That was my pride, and like, I literally am tearing up right now. My pride and joy, my Swiss chard. I have been working on that and growing that since last summer, and it has stayed with me all winter. It really, really makes me emotional to see it not there. This was my beautiful kale, and this was more kale and Swiss chard that I started as, you know, succession planting. And this was broccoli. It was broccoli. Guys, I want to cry. Like, I'm so emotionally attached to my garden, because my garden has brought me so much joy. As you guys know, I am on a fertility journey, and there is nothing more nurturing than to get your hands in the soil and to work with God's beautiful creation. So as I've gone through this journey and I've had surgeries and, you know, I've had my emotional ups and downs, this garden has brought me so much joy, because I've been able to nurture it and, you know, start life and have something that sustains my family and I, and while I go through, you know, this journey to start a human life. And so yeah, this was my jalapeno plant, which might still be salvageable. I know peppers sometimes are salvageable. That was eggplant. It didn't have any eggplants on it, but it was, you know, starting to grow a nice root system and stem and stuff. And so you see, Creed is very curious. So yeah, so a bit emotional right now, but you know, God is. And so I have tons and tons of seeds, and my garden is still here. Once this all melts, I'm gonna pull everything and replant and start fresh, because, you know, isn't that the life cycle, right? My boys are super curious. They love it. They love the snow. They love the garden. So we'll be back in a few weeks. Don't you worry. We're gonna get all this cleaned up. In a few weeks, Mama's garden will be back. And you can tell me of your lies. I will put out the fire if it gets too dark.